Hello everyone, welcome to Linda's Soup Plants for You. Today I'm going to bring you a short video update on my newest acquisitions, if you will. And I just want to talk a little bit about my method of madness to keep from getting another infestation of bugs. There's a lot of videos out there on how to treat fungus gnats and thrips and spider mites and what have you, and many of them are good videos and they're good information, but I just want to add to that, and I just want to say up front, I know that there are many of you that are not into the systemic type treatments, and I admire that in you if you are able to, get rid of your plant pests without using that. Good for you, because I really hate chemicals as well. However, I have a house full of plants. I've only counted them twice since in the last, I don't know how many years, and the last count before I got the thrips infestation was just under 300 plants. So you can imagine my anxiousness when I discovered that I had thrips. Now, fungus gnats is one issue. That's an annoyance, and I've also heard it said that they don't harm your plants, but they do. The larvae will feed on the fine roots in the soil, so that's not true. That is something that you have to watch out for. However, they don't do near as much damage as the thrips do. The thrips can decimate your whole house full of plants in a very short period of time, and in some cases there's just no coming back from it. And they particularly like philodendrons. Now, while I'm not, I don't have all the fancy expensive philodendron plants that many people today own, but I do have a few that mean a lot to me, and I don't want to lose them. So it's something that I have to be careful of. But I just want to say that the plants that you're looking at right now, I had in plastic bags for over 2 weeks actually. And that is my first method, and I just did a video on that with a couple of Sansevieria that I picked up. They were like $3 or $3.49, something like that, and they looked pretty bad. I hesitated bringing them home, but I felt so bad because I knew with a little tender loving care that I could bring them back to life. So I did. I bought them and I put them in my large hefty Ziploc bag, and they're doing fine. So when I do my Sansevieria table update and show you all those, then I'll point that out to you. But for now, I just want to bring you these plants I've had in bags for over 2 weeks. I put them in there because if anything's going to hatch, chances are it'll be in that 14-day time span. Now, that being said, that's not 100%. There are some thrips that can take up to, I believe I read somewhere, up to 40 days actually. So, there's still a possibility, but thrips are not yet near as rampant as these fungus gnats are. So the reason I put these in bags is if there is anything in the soil and it hatches out, it's going to stay in that bag and hopefully it'll suffocate. This has happened twice to me now in the last, 2 months or so. Plants that I brought home, I put in the bag, and sure enough, they had fungus gnats. There was no sign of those fungus gnats when I purchased them. I looked on the soil. I moved the soil around like we always tell everyone to do. I dug down in there. I pulled some of them, the ones that I could pull out and look at the roots. I did that, and there was no sign of it. However, once I got them home and I put them in the bag within, in fact, on the Sansevieria honey, those bugs I didn't see until the second time I put them in a bag. And the reason I did that on those is because they were in such bad shape. So I put them in the bag before I brought them in the house. I left them for 2 weeks. I took them outside, rinsed all the soil off, rinsed off the plant, treated them, and then put them back in the bag for another week. And that's when the fungus gnats came out. That's when they hatched. So, you know, it's not an exact science, but overall, if you keep them in a bag for, say, up to 2 weeks, you're probably going to be pretty safe if they're not already, you know, declining. Though, like I said, those 2 plants that I got were already declining, and I probably shouldn't have brought them home, but I did. All right, so my Birkins here, you know, when she was in the bag, I was getting worried about her leaves rotting because they were wet and they kept leaning up against the bag. And I thought for sure that I was going to have damage from that, but I didn't. Any damage that you see on here was on here when I purchased the plant. So, and not only that, I have new growth coming out, so it didn't harm her in any way. Here's a new shoot right here, hopefully, yeah, you can see that. So she's doing good. She's doing good. What I do want to do with all of these plants here in the next day or two is I'm going to repot these into fresh soil and use my soil mix because I just like dealing with what I'm familiar with, and that's really my main reason for doing it. So that's what I'm going to do. This is my Birkins. She's doing great. This is my polka dot plant, or I should say my husband's. He fell in love with this when he saw it at the store. He said, "You could use that for a house plant." He said, "Yep, I could." I had a pink one like this, and I had it growing up a trellis. It was huge, and it was beautiful. And then one winter, it just started to decline. I think it was too cold by the window. But at that point, I wanted to make room for other plants anyway, so as it declined, I didn't do anything to stop it, and I feel bad about that, but she started getting very leggy and pale, and I couldn't continue to have to address problems with her because I had too many other babies to take care of. So anyway, that's that one. We're going to be putting that in a pot. And then my Birkins I just showed you. And then this one is my ZZ Raven that I got at Lowe's. They had 2 left the day I was there looking for exterior plants, and my husband had to go grab something, so I sat on my walker and waited for him to come back. And right where I sat, on the end cap, were 2 of these ZZ plants. So I was really excited when I saw it. I almost fell over. So I purchased it, and it came with this pot, and I believe it was $19.99. And you know, that's a really good price, I think. Because it came with the pot, and for those of you that are white pot lovers, that's a really good deal because you don't have to buy a separate pot. I myself am not. That doesn't really go with my decor. I'm more into the vintage style things and terracotta. But I have a daughter and granddaughter who are also into plants, so I'm just going to pass this on to them. But anyway, she's doing good. She's got a little signs of distress here, but that is how she was when I bought her. So that did not happen while she was in the bag. So she's doing good. And then, last but not least, is my my Alocasia Polly. Now, when I got her, I was a little leery because there were fungus gnats in the store, and normally when I see that, I don't purchase anything. But that, my plant friends, is becoming very commonplace here in southeastern Wisconsin. I don't think that there's a store I can go in that carries indoor plants that doesn't have fungus gnats flying around. It's almost impossible to get away from. Which is going to lead me into my next video, which I'm going to talk about, but not on this one because I don't want it to get too long. But I am going to talk in great depth about how to get rid of fungus gnats, thrips, and spider mites. So if you're interested in that, stay tuned. Watch my next video, and hopefully it will help you and give you some peace if you're struggling with any of these insects. It can be very frustrating, especially if you have a huge house full of plants. But, and then I just wanted to touch on this. These are my spider babies. If you watched my video on my spider plants, I stuck these in the cup. I had intended to put them back in one of the plants, but the plants themselves filled up the pot so nicely I didn't feel the need to add anything to them. Now they need more water right now, but you can see the root system down there is just phenomenal. It's just phenomenal. And my daughter ran into someone who was looking for spider plants, so I thought perhaps I could pot some of these up for her. So I'm still waiting to hear from her on that, and if not, then I will just pot them up and give them away to my other friends and relatives here locally. I wish I could ship them out to people, but I can't, so unfortunately that's not an option for me right now. But at any rate, there's quite a few in here. This is going to make a lot of spider plants for those of you that are into that. Okay, that's going to be it for this video. I'm going to repot these and put them where they're going to live, hopefully, for a long, long time. And stay tuned for my next video. It's going to be very, very informative, and I think it'll be helpful even if you aren't currently dealing with insects. It'll be good information, simple, easy to understand, and you might want to even grab a notebook so you can jot down some notes. And if you have any questions after that, absolutely feel free to comment or ask me, or I'm also on Instagram by the same name, lindasueplantsforyou, and I'm happy to answer any questions or comments, or just to engage with you, period. I enjoy doing that, so please don't ever feel like you're bothering me, and understand that I've always been of the mindset that there is no such thing as a stupid question. If you have a question about something, it needs to get answered. If I can answer it, I will do that to the best of my ability. If I don't know the answer, I will tell you I don't know, because the last thing I want to do is steer you in the wrong direction. Alright, so that'll be it for today, or for this video. I'm going to clear off my table here and go get set up for my next video and show you how to get rid of those plant pests once and for all. Okay, so stay tuned for that. Thanks for coming. Bye now.